Blog Talk Radio.
Welcome to our program on Kardec Radio. And now, here's our host, Dr. Vanessa Anceloni.
Hello, dear listener. Here we are with you at Kardec Radio. One more opportunity for all of us to learn more about spiritism, right? And we are here with you today to talk about the power of cooperation. And to talk about it, we have invited our dear friend from the Charlotte Christian Spiritist Center. And you can go to the website, christianspiritistcenter.com. All you need to do is go there and find information about this beautiful group. Heddy Patrick Alves Garcia is here with us, and he's going to talk to us about the beauty of the works that are being done, right? But before I open the line, I would like to share with you that this coming May 6th, the United States Spiritist Federation is organizing its 11th version of the United States Spiritist Symposium in Orlando, Florida. You can go to spiritistsymposium.org and get to know more information about it. For now, I'd like to leave you with the message. We're going to be setting the tone for the program today. So.
Each heart is like a parcel of spiritual land. Many will be buried by the stones of prejudice at the side of others who got entangled by the thorns of illusion, needing enormous time to break free. However, think about the good land not in use. This is where elements that generate inertia are found. Abandoned lands, orphaned lands, creatures who are anxious for the fertilizer of faith, souls who beg for a modest garden of hope and comfort. These troubled, forgotten lands will often look for you. Your vision will open up through the fatigue of the parents where pain manifests, tortures, and consumes, through the disillusionment of your sad fellows who carry in their hearts the ashes of their own dreams, through the problems of the child who is consumed by revolt, through the trials of your brothers and sisters who cry smiling so that you may not see the debris of their resentment. If you can already hear the sublime sower proclaiming, "Sow, sow," you know that charity is the sun that sweeps the shadows. You bring within you the gift to sprinkle comfort. You can pronounce the blessed word. You can pour what is left from the purse, transforming the coin in a prayer of joy. You have the strong arm which lifts up the fallen. Your fingers are capable of mending the strings broken by suffering in others' hearts, attuning them to the sound of the fraternal music. You have the privilege of sharing clothes you no longer need with those less fortunate. Nothing hinders you from helping the sick. Nobody prevents you from building in the road the good for those who are here and for those who are to come. Do not deter yourself in the emptiness of the shadows. Plant truth and light, joy and goodness. If you perceive the voice of the sublime sower, you will hear him at each step of the way, confidently saying closer to your ears, "Work while you can, and sow."
Yes, dear listener, this is about the tone of our program today, the message of sowing with the Master Jesus. Yes, all around the world, we are all here with you to promote the beauty of this encounter with the Master and the power of cooperation. Around the world, many people are in true need of help, of consolation, not only bread, not only clothes, but mostly nourishment for the soul. And that's why Kardec Radio is here for you. And this is our unique opportunity to be here with Heddy Patrick Alves Garcia, who is one of the founders of the Charlotte Christian Spiritist Center. And as the name says, it's in Charlotte, North Carolina. He is here with us today, and we are rejoicing with the opportunity of being with him because he has a lot to share with us. The beauty of the works, and much more than that, the latest news. They got their headquarters. Yeah, it's hard work. They're working hard on that end, and he is here with us. Hello, Patrick. How are you?
Hello, Vanessa. We are pretty good. And we want to send very warm hugs to our listeners and saying thank you in advance for inviting us. And we hope to contribute with any thoughts and asking to God to bless all of us and blessing the Kardec Radio.
Thank you, Patrick. You know, before we start talking about the power of cooperation, let me ask you about that power of cooperation in the founding of the group there. Can you rewind the tape of history and tell us about how it all began, how you and your beautiful wife, family, and friends put it together?
Yeah, sure. So I'm the third generation of a Spiritist family. So my grandma and my mom, my aunts in Brazil at that time, they are since the late 60s and 70s helping in the Spiritist movement in Brazil. And exactly 4 years and 8 months now, I moved from the state of Mato Grosso do Sul in Brazil to the state of North Carolina here in the United States. And of course, as you know, so the Spiritist Center to us, it's a place of blessings to protect us and also to help us in the storms that comes in life. So even far from our Spiritist Center in Brazil, we said, well, we need to ask for the protection, and we keep in need of the protection of these blessings. So on that time in 2012, we start a very small group, and we're still in a very small group in our apartment. And we invited other friends, other new friends here in Charlotte for meetings for the gospel at home, and also studying Kardec books, especially the Spirit's book at that time. And that was how we started. And still around 1 year later, we rented our first space outside our apartment, our home. And in June 4th, 13th, we invited Mauricio Cisneros, that is a great friend, to come and do the official foundation on that time. And we had around 18 people with us, and was how we started this group, Vanessa.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's beautiful. And I know recently you guys took another step. You got your headquarters. Tell us a little bit about the effort that led you to this.
Yes, well, this is something that is really hard to explain. Emmanuel and Chico brings in his book, but actually Andrea Lewis is that all the institutions, good institutions on earth, not only the religious ones, but all foundations and institutions that comes to the earth to help people. They mainly start the spiritual world. So I guess the spirituality was planning to us to move this headquarters to a permanent home. And around 18 months ago, we started looking for somewhere, someplace where we could establish and be forever established on that location. And then we started researching what was needed for that, where to go. And in the beginning was really hard, especially because when we talk with realtors that were helping us on that time, American realtors, so when we try to explain to them what is the Spiritism, the first image that they had, of course, was a regular church. Even we're trying to explain that we are not a regular church, so we don't need a huge, pretty, large rooms with a lot of chairs and all of that. And the opposite, the Spirit Center, just a small room where our hearts, the Spirit Center is basically based on our hearts. So we find a person that is Luciana Ferreira, and she came to the Spirit Center. She was not a spiritist at that time, and she saw our activities, and we started researching. And with the effort and cooperation of many friends, several friends from several states in the U.S. and also from Brazil, so we found a church, a regular church, that they were moving for a bigger church and were selling their old church. That is the place that we are now. And after around 5 months negotiating, talking about down payments and financing the church to us, so and we were asking inspiration from God for everything. That was our place, so we could move to there. And actually, I'm here right now. So Saturdays in the morning, we have community service, we have a food pantry, we have children group, we have the youth group, we have clothes donation, we have spiritist classes, pastors therapy for the community. And so that happened that way. So after a long talk, so we could find a deal that was financially good to the old owners, to the landlord, and also possible to us to pay. And we did some fundraisers and also received some donations from friends, and that made that possible. And to talk about cooperation, to us, that was the most beautiful example of people helping one another. And the Spirit Center, there is no honor than Jesus and our spiritual guides. So basically that was our process to reach this huge step to us, and where the spirituality can also make plans in not only in a short term, but in a long and middle term, and to offer consolation, to receive more people, and also especially that is the purpose of our Spirit Center, the local community, especially the Americans that live here around the Spirit Center.
Yes, and no, it's interesting, Patrick, because people may be listening to us, and at our 11 p.m. study group on Facebook, Kardec Radio's Facebook, every day, we are in touch with people from around the world, and many of them don't have a Spirit Center where they are, and they look forward to that. They often write to us like, how do I do it? Where do I begin, etc. So what would you say, based on your experience, where should they begin if they want to put together a group?
Well, to answer this question, I want to remember the book Paul and Stephen from Emmanuel and Chico Xavier. When Paul, on his travels all around the world on that time, he started church in the name of Jesus Christ inside their homes, or people of good faith, of goodwill, that started in small groups, real small groups. And for example, the Church of Antioquia were only 3 people, and one of them were Timothy. And nowadays we know how important was Timothy helping, including Paul, to disseminate the gospel. So we can start from home, from our homes, apartments, townhomes, houses, and this is the first step. And most important is building the space or where we are, with sharing good energies, praying together, and creating fraternal bonds in the group. So this is another lesson from Paul in the book Paul Stephen. So a spirit center is made by people incarnated and also the discarnated. So we started from home, and here in the U.S. we have seen several other groups also giving the first step with 2 couples, 4 people, 5 people, and then inviting others to come to their homes, and when their homes still too small, so then they give the next step to go for another place. Here in North Carolina, we have now 6 groups, 6 spiritist groups. So only 2, 3 of them now they have their own spaces. It's not on their homes. And the next step, I don't know if everywhere in the world is the same, but especially here in North Carolina, the Department of Parks and Recreation in every single county, they rent rooms for a very affordable price where we can meet, also libraries, where we can talk about religious subjects or spiritual subjects, and it's a second step or where they can try to go to. So if you want to start a spirit center, you can start from home or in a park or in a library. But the most important thing, I believe, is this fraternal bonds and be committed with the 5 books from our mentor Kardec, the Spirit's book, the Gospel According to Spiritism, the Genesis. So when we start with this proposal of fidelity with the Kardec books, all the other stuff will happen or will occur with spontaneity.
Exactly. So here we have it, dear listeners, for you. If you are around the world and you don't have a center, that's how we all began. We begin with a group of people, like maybe just one more, you and somebody else. You read the books, pray together. Simplicity is the key. No, you don't want like hundreds of people, because you know why? Each person that comes to your center, you need to care for, talk to them. You're not building a church, okay? It's beyond the church. It's a school. It's a school for the soul. And in the school of the soul, you care for each one of them. And to take care of hundreds, you need another 100 to be empowered and work with you. Patrick, we're going to give a very short break, but when we come back, we want to know more about the beauty of this power of cooperation. And also we want to talk to you about the Auto de Souza movement that exists around the world. Okay?
Okay, sure.
On Saturday, May 6th, 2017, the United States Spiritist Federation presents Reincarnation, the Logic Behind a Divine Justice. Join us for this year's National Symposium at the UCF Rosen College of Hospitality in Orlando, Florida. The U.S. Spiritist Symposium is a unique personal growth event that combines the insights of scientific research on spirituality, profound self-inquiry techniques information, as well as a vast array of other spiritual-related presentations. The symposium provides an exceptional opportunity to take your life to a new level of self-awareness and purpose, and includes a full day of talks, workshops, and roundtable discussions. For more information, please visit our website at www.spiritist.us/events.
Yes, this is it, and it's coming up. It's a beautiful meeting that happens in the United States. And I remember from day one when we had the first one in 2007 in Baltimore, a meeting that is certainly coordinated by the spiritual realm and solely in English, providing beautiful guidance and instruction to everyone. And this year, there's a special reception desk where you're going to be given the opportunity to ask questions and even receive some sort of spiritual support through what we call the fraternal counseling or fraternal assistance. Just go to spiritysymposium.org. Now, Patrick, I know you came from Brazil, and in Brazil, the Spiritist movement is very developed. And one of the features that exists in Brazil is the beautiful movement Alta de Souza. I myself remember with my grandmother the center that exists to date, that is going to turn 100 years. They do the Alta de Souza campaign on Sundays. And I remember as a knocking on the door and distributing the flyers and picking up the donations. I never forget that. It's unbelievable feeling in Brazil. Can you tell us this and much more about the Alta de Souza and how much that feature has been supporting the center in Charlotte? Because I know there are people from Brazil who come every year and they support the efforts there too, right?
Yes, right. So the Alta de Souza campaign that you mentioned, and we do that here also in Charlotte. It's a food drive, and we go door to door as any regular food drive, but our main purpose is not to ask for the material charity. Our purpose is not to collect food, or not our main purpose is not to collect food, but it's to spread out the Spiritist message of consolation. And on that point, of course, we don't want to convert anyone to Spiritism, because Spiritism is not proselytism, but the Spirit message that we deliver at the home talks about hope and against depression, in defense of life, defending against suicide too. And the Alta de Souza campaign started with a Brazilian man called Ninfo de Paula Correia, and it came from another very famous campaign in Brazil that is called Campanha do Quilo, or the Kilogram campaign, with this main purpose of the food drive. And when Ninfo de Paula Correia started at the Spiritist Federation of São Paulo, he started the Department of Social Work there, and he started to receive some messages and letters from Chico Xavier, and these letters came signed by the spirit of Bezerra de Menezes, and some poetry from Alta de Souza telling about the campaign they're doing, helping others, and also helping to clean the spiritual environment in the streets where they're doing the campaign. And that, of course, brought to them a bunch of good energy and excitement to keep doing that. And these friends that comes from Brazil, and also I know that we have a friend that listens to us that is Publio in Canada. We have some friends also in Mexico, and so they help us most of the time with good words with their energies, and sharing a little bit of their experience with the Spirit Center in their cities. And we can gather all together in the confraternization, we gathering all together and sharing subjects. So we are part of this great movement that also helps the Spiritist movement in many other countries in the world.
That's beautiful, Patrick. And, one of the reasons why we also got here together today is to discuss about the beauty of the Spiritist messages. And there is one in particular published in the book Thought and Life by Emmanuel through the medium Chico Xavier. Emmanuel describes in the introduction of the book that those were spoken directives given by the spirits to those who were preparing to reincarnate. And this is in the schools of regeneration in the spiritual realm. Of course, we're talking about another level of preparation. Not everybody who reincarnates goes through this course, such courses. But if they haven't, now we have them on earth. And chapter 3 is about cooperation. Patrick, I'm going to play the message for the listener. This message was recorded by Celine in the Inner Enlightenment Spiritist Society in New York, and Aldiso Araújo has kindly bridged it up to us. So let us listen to this, and then we're going to discuss.
Chapter 3, Cooperation. In order for someone to successfully and efficiently administer an important organization, it is not enough to have been nominated for the position. A combination of many excellent qualities is needed in order for an enterprise to consolidate and prosper. To administer requires not only authority, but also guidance and discernment. Not only are theory and culture needed, but virtue and clear judgment, as well as a sense of proportion. Ample resources placed at the service of a disoriented mind are like a treasure in the arms of insanity. Riches without direction resemble a ship without a destination. An administrator must irradiate forces of justice and goodness, work and discipline in order to reach the objectives of the position he holds. When authority is abused, the people suffer from lack of tranquility and disturbance. If intelligence lacks the guidance of good character, then misery and cruelty will result. That is why we find so many tyrants who possess great intellects and geniuses of profound sensitivity steeped in vice. In our innermost world, our will is as the captain who cannot afford to neglect his duties. Just as an administrator needs the help of good and honest co-workers, likewise the will cannot do without ponderation and logic as respected counselors in decision-making processes. However, it is essential that a sense of cooperation be called upon to sustain our impulses. Following the lines of terrestrial activity, the one who gives secure orientation does not ignore the natural hierarchy that exists in the coexistence with all indispensable values of life. Let us take, for example, the confectioning of a common sweater. The thread will count on the collaboration of the machine. The machine will expect the competence of the operator. The operator will receive support from the technician who supervises the work. The technician will then count on the director of the factory, who in turn will rely on the movement of the industry, from which he will extract the necessary economic resources in order to be able to feed the work which obeys his orders. In this way, we observe that in order to function properly without any breakdown of harmony, the will, in its individual state, needs to make use of cooperation in order to clarify its activity. Spontaneous cooperation is the supreme ingredient of order. From divine glory to subatomic particles, the universe may be defined as a connecting chain of lives that interweave with the greater life. Cooperation means constructive collaboration in order to be able to face challenges and wholehearted help so as to put deprivation behind us. He who helps others will himself be helped and will silently find that this is the most secure formula for readjustment in the evolutionary process.
Dear listener, this is the message that comes to us from the Spirit Emmanuel, describing the importance of cooperating. As we said before in another message, cooperation, as the name says, is about co-piloting. Are you ready to co-pilot in your life with other people, or you only want to take the lead? We are co-pilots in God's universe. God is the pilot. We're the co-pilots. So, Patrick, when you hear this, the directives given to us by Emmanuel, what comes to your mind first?
Well, Vanessa, I remember the book, The Messengers, from André Luiz and Chico, when we see that huge university preparing mediums, spiritists, and a lot of people, and sometimes the book says they spend like 4 decades, 40 years, 30 years, 50 years preparing themselves for this opportunity to be here incarnated and to work, basically. So we are here on earth not to be served by God, but to serve God. So most of us, in the beginning, he says that we may not be in charge of a huge company, a huge institution. We are not the CEO of Apple or Microsoft or any of those companies. And maybe we are not in charge of the spirit center where we are, but we are most of the times in charge of our children or of our home, and everything in life cooperates. If we pay attention, even the ant is in cooperation of the life on earth. Bees, they are in cooperation to sustain our life too. So the poor situation we may be, even in the biggest suffering we may be facing right now, even on that time. So always there are more people in a worse situation than us. So if we lost, for example, our beloved son for the physical presence, there are a lot of kids that they lost their parents, and we can go there and offer something. If we cannot walk, but we have our arms, we can offer a hug to someone. So everywhere, if we look around, and if we look from our own world, we would see others that are also in need. But we have our best that we can offer. So cooperation means work with someone else or work with others. And I'm sorry, Vanessa, I don't know if you're speaking too much, but you can tell me.
Good,
Yeah.
and inspiring as we like to listen your breakdown of it because we are learning here together. And it's interesting, Patrick, because cooperation is something that everybody wants. to achieve and they want to find cooperation. But the question is, are we good at cooperating? Because most often than not, people want others to cooperate with them. But when it comes to cooperating with others, we need to learn. Like, I'll give an example. I was reading the other day, and we were studying our 11 p.m. group about a passage by Jesus when this woman approached him and Peter, but she addressed Peter. And the whole description tells that Jesus was just following them, but serenely supporting them. He didn't say a word. It was a dramatic scenario, and he was just there, side by side with Peter and the woman. The whole time, he didn't say a word. He didn't interfere. He didn't judge anything, because usually people are like this. If they know better than others, they go interfere, take the lead. If they don't know, they're like, they give up and say, whatever, you take care. You carry on by yourselves and you do it. What about being in that position of being supportive? And that's what we need in the world. Like, I don't need to be on stage. I can be there supporting the process of evolution of my fellow beings. Supporting them is about putting them center stage in our lives and carrying on the help that they need. What do you need to be helped? And I will never forget when I read this from Louise Hay's Kardec affirmations. She says, how can I love you more? If we were just able to ask that question from our loved ones and just help them instead of asking them to help us, wouldn't that change everything, Patrick?
Yes, and it's so interesting, Vanessa, because today we know that if Jesus, he could work by himself. He had all the powers of the Spirit of life. He was in strict connection with God, but he chose to cooperate and also ask for cooperation from others. So sometimes, I guess we underestimate ourselves or also others. So we think, offer anything. I don't have anything. I have so many vices inside myself. I make so many mistakes. But all of us, we have something to offer. And I remember there is a book from Chico and Andre Lewis. Mm-hmm. I don't think this book is in English yet, but Andre says, so even a huge mansion, a huge home, it cannot offer all the security, rest, all the food inside of it without the cooperation of a very small key. So a huge building needs the corporation, a very small key, so we can get inside that. So even our children or youth at the Spirit Center or ourselves, so we can help others to get inside the God's work or inside this Spirit Center that offers the consolation and show us all the responsibilities that we have with the great life.
Yeah, it's amazing, Patrick, how much it can change. And I'm reading here from the very book, Cooperation, and the definition. Cooperation means constructive collaboration in order to be able to face challenges and wholehearted help so as to put deprivation behind us. That's so interesting because deprivation not only is about the material deprivation, but also the lack of love, the lack of attention. How many children do you have, Patrick?
I have 4 kids.
14?
4.
4 kids, right? Yeah, and you as a parent, you know that they need attention. And it's not easy, right? It's not easy.
Yeah.
And we guarantee that they're not going to be deprived of the help that they need.
Yeah.
Let's from
Perfectly.
the So how do you assure it? Like team working with your wife, right?
Yes. And also asking them the cooperation and tasks that they are able to do it to help. So in family, I guess is the best place where we can find this spiritual definition for cooperation. So including receiving the blessing, to receive a spirit in our families, it's to help God, to cooperate with God in education with another eternal spirit. So in family, it's a challenge. It's challenging, but also is the best place to put in action this cooperation.
So, and here it says, spontaneous cooperation is the supreme ingredient of order. And it's interesting, Patrick, because we are living on the earth in which people usually, they expect to be invited, they expect people to instruct them. And from an early age, we feel like we need to teach our children to be aware of what people need so they can spontaneously cooperate with others. Right? Right?
Yeah. Yeah. So, yeah, we need to be proactive. So even, I will remember once again the Spirit Center. So sometimes, of course, there is a director in the Spirit Center, and there are some groups, especially that are related with the unique activities. So we need to prepare ourselves and our spirits to be part of the tasks. But there are so many other tasks in the Spirit Center that we can help. For example, a very important one in our Spirit Centers that is helping cleaning or placing the chairs, papers, and everything on their exactly places where they should be, or in the end of the day or the activities, asking to others, to the new members, how are their lives, or if we can help others. So we don't need to wait for someone to invite us for some works that we can see that we can go there and do. And also in our workplaces, so most of times we can help to do other tasks that mainly will not be our direct responsibility, but we can offer our help to others, and in that way create sympathy with our co-workers in the regular jobs that we have. So everywhere we don't need to wait for someone to ask us. So if we see when charity takes too long to take place, it comes late. So if we look around, we will see where we can cooperate.
Exactly. And you said it all. Many people are discussing how should we do it? How should you just do it? Right? For example, in Spiritism in Brazil, Dr. Bezerra de Menezes was living at a time when Spiritism was still very modest. And he was not like, oh, let's discuss it. He was rolling his sleeves and working at all ends with his children, with his patients, in politics, in the Brazilian Spiritist Federation, and we've never heard of him wasting time discussing how we're going to do something instead of doing it. So we're being asked today to actually do what you need to do. Because as Emmanuel describes, he who helps others will help himself, will be helped, and will silently find that this is the most secure formula for readjustment of readjustment in the evolutionary process. Patrick, we're coming to a closure in this part of our program. What else would you like to share with others around the world, especially those who are suffering? And then you tell us also about the event that is coming up this June, right?
Yes, in June. So first, I want to say thank you very much, Vanessa, for inviting us. For one that is in suffering, I guess it's remembering this part that you just said. So when we help others, we find our help. So when we help others to find their happiness, we are going to find our happiness. So may God bless all of us, and suffering is part of life. Even Jesus has to face difficulties and misunderstandings and suffering in life. But when we try to create this connection with God, we are with Him everywhere and in all situations. So, and in June 3rd and 4th, here in Charlotte, we're going to have our 4th Alta de Souza Fraternal meeting in North Carolina. And if you want to know more about the schedule of the events, the speakers, and we are also having Vanessa with us here, and we are really happy with that. So we have a website that is fraternalmeeting.com, www.fraternalmeeting.com, and we are also going to have Dr. Sabino Antonio Luna from Argentina, Dr. Rodrigo Escalia from Brazil, Vanessa Anceloni, and many other friends to share a little bit about their knowledge. And also the Fraternal Meeting have a special session for children and also for the youth, and it's an event for the whole family. So we'll be waiting for everyone that wants to join us in June 3rd and June 4th to learn and share knowledge and good energy. So just once more, the website is fraternalmeeting.com. Vanessa, thank you very much once again for this invitation.
Thank you so much. And for those who want the website, I just received a message on Facebook by Kardec Radio, and somebody is asking about the website of the center. It's ChristianSpiritistCenter.com. Go there and find more information about the group. You know, the beauty that I find also in the group is the joy. You know, what we call the Christian joy. Yes, the Christian joy that unites our friends, right, Patrick?
Yes. So we are a very small group, but we try to help one another and to share good energies to one another, studying, singing, helping the communities that are around the Spirit Center. So when you are in Charlotte, our listeners, please come to join us, to visit us. It's always a pleasure to see our friends in Ideal and Spiritism, to receive all of them here with us.
I just saw in your website that today you have your first meeting in the new location. Is that right? What time is it going to be?
Yes, actually we are right now here. So
wow.
We have community activities from 9:30 till noon. So I'm in the office. So there are all the children. Today, it's donation day with the food pantry. So we have pastor in the beginning, the Christian joy when we sing with the children, parents. And also at 5 today, at 5 p.m. is the School of Spirit Studies. And so for everyone that wants to learn Spiritism. We have study sections every Saturday from 5 to 7:20.
Beautiful. Wonderful. What a joy. We're there with you. We can feel it. And we rejoice with you guys. It's really a wonderful achievement. I bet it's I'm speechless because this is the investment on the new generations. Opening a center and creating the headquarters is going to be something that can last as long as God wants. It doesn't depend on us anymore. Right?
Yeah. And something,
know,
Vanessa, that I would I would to highlight. It is all the documents of the Spirit Center and the property itself. It's in name of the institution, so it's in name of the Charlotte Christian Spirit Center. It's not in name of an individual, and it's part of the contract that we did when we bought the Spirit Center with the landlord. That is this space, the headquarters. It cannot be sold anymore in the future, so it cannot be transferred to anyone. So it should be always be used as a Spirit Center, as a non-profit organization, as a religious organization, and this is for the future generations to come. And we hope even for the community, for the Americans here, they learn Spiritism and occupy the spaces that we are taking right now.
That's beautiful. We rejoice with you. Big hug on everybody there, and keep sharing this good news because the world is brighter today because of you guys. Thank you, Patrick. Stay in touch, okay?
Thank you very much, and may God bless all of us. And thank you, Vanessa, for this amazing job with the Kardec Radio.
Thank you. So, friends, here we are, the Charlotte Christian Spiritist Center. Did you know that the first Spiritist Center was founded in North Carolina, near Ellen College, by Salim Haddad, a Lebanese Brazilian who moved to the United States and became American as well, naturalized American, and his wonderful wife, Phyllis. Through the child, Edwina and David, we've come to know a lot of information about their communication with Divaldo Franco and Chico Xavier, and history is made, and now we have the joy of having the Charlotte Christian Spiritist Center. I'll never forget when I first talked to Patrick when he just moved to the United States with his family, and he was, he's still young, but he was younger, and he was asking about information, etc., and it's always a good and beautiful surprise to see how things just unfold. We needed to invest on the future of humanity. How? By creating these nuclei of joy, of love, of kindness around the world. Yes, dear listener, we're coming to an end on our program today, but, in the name of the beauty of their beautiful collective effort, the power of cooperation, right there in Charlotte, North Carolina, we're going to wrap up with Emmanuel's prayer of service. This is actually published in the book Enlightening Messages, or the CD Enlightening Messages. If you want to buy it, go to the website of the Spiritist Society of Baltimore, ssbaltimore.org. Listen to this message as your prayer, my prayer, our prayer on April 14th, prayer of service.
Prayer of service. Lord, teach us to walk the enlightening path of service. Give us the strength to destroy the heavy fortress of our wrongdoings. the courage to pave the way to freedom from ourselves and the means to unlock our hearts in favor of our neighbors, surrendering to them at last the treasures of love with which you entrusted us. Wherever we walk, may pain become less hurtful, ignorance less aggressive, hatred less cruel, darkness less dense, lethargy less shadowing, intolerance less destructive. If we do not yet possess the positive qualities to enrich our terrestrial journey, help us to mitigate the injustices that surround us. May we, in your name, distribute fraternity and renewal, and use with happiness the sublime and invisible gifts of silence, comprehension, and renunciation. Lord, who taught us without words the supreme lessons of simplicity in the cradle and of sacrifice in the cross, leading us toward spiritual development and divine resurrection, guide our uncertain walk and help our sanctified propositions so that your will, merciful and just, be unto us, with us, and for us, today and forever, wherever we may be. So be it.
On Saturday, May 6, 2017, the United States Spiritist Federation presents Reincarnation, the Logic Behind a Divine Justice. Join us for this year's National Symposium at the UCF Rosen College of Hospitality in Orlando, Florida. The U.S. Spiritist Symposium is a unique personal growth event that combines the insights of scientific research on spirituality, profound self-inquiry techniques information, as well as a vast array of other spiritual-related presentations. The symposium provides an exceptional opportunity to take your life to a new level of self-awareness and purpose, and includes a full day of talks, workshops, and roundtable discussions. For more information, please visit our website at www.spiritist.us/events.